Adrian Hayes, a professional photographer who had spent years traveling the world for various projects, finally felt the need to slow down. He had moved to a quiet small town 2 months earlier, hoping to build a calmer life while still nurturing his artistic work. Locals had started recognizing him, showing a friendly interest in his profession. One day, the Bennett family, well-known residents of the town, kindly invited him to take their new family portraits, seeing it as an opportunity both for bonding with the community and adding a fresh portrait series to his portfolio. Adrian accepted without hesitation. The Bennett house stood on the far end of the town, an old, seemingly noble farmhouse, with tall wooden pillars and peeling white paint. A withered oak tree guarded the outer lawn, its bare branches moving stiffly under the growing wind. The sky had darkened into a blanket of thick gray clouds, hinting at an incoming storm. When Adrian reached the front door, a soft glow of warm yellow light spilled through the windows, giving the impression of a cozy, welcoming home. The door was left slightly ajar. Curious, he stepped inside while clutching his equipment case. The house was immaculate at first glance. Family portraits decorated the walls. Antique furniture was arranged with meticulous care, and a sparkling chandelier cast gentle reflections onto the polished wooden floor. It felt like a place full of warmth, tradition, and comfort. He met the family, a mother, a father, and 2 children. They appeared almost too perfect. Their complexions were unnaturally smooth and pale, their smiles eerily fixed, and their eyes shone with an unnatural brightness. Even the children barely shifted as they stood, like beautifully crafted dolls placed in a display. Their perfection sparked a faint discomfort inside Adrian, though he forced himself to remain professional. The photo session was arranged in a spacious living room with a decorative fireplace. The family insisted on perfection: angles, lighting, backdrop. Everything had to be precise. The entire time, a suffocating silence lingered. No footsteps upstairs, no pipes creaking, not even the whistle of wind entering from beneath the doors. The children stood without so much as a blink. Adrian snapped the first shot. Something was wrong. The faces appeared distorted, rippling across the screen as though the camera struggled to capture them. He checked his lens, wiped it clean, inspected the settings. Nothing seemed flawed. He took another shot. When he reviewed it, parts of the bodies remained visible, but the faces were swallowed by darkness. A cold shiver crawled down his spine. He switched angles. While adjusting his tripod, his eyes wandered to the walls. Portraits, older ones, lined the upper sections. They resembled the family in the room, but with aged frames and faded colors, as if generations of Bennetts shared the exact same features. Their eyes held that same disturbing gleam. Adrian felt a growing unease, the sense that those eyes were watching him back. As the shoot continued, the room grew colder. The flames in the fireplace didn't seem to warm anything. The chill seeped into his bones. His fingers trembled. He decided to take a short break before resuming. He walked toward the kitchen. There, the illusion of perfection shattered. Unlike the pristine living room, the kitchen looked abandoned. Molded scraps of food lay scattered. Foul-smelling liquids dripped from containers, and the trash bins overflowed with decay. This place didn't belong to a happy and tidy family. Something deeply wrong lurked beneath the surface. Parched, he opened the refrigerator. There was no food, only jars filled with thick, dark crimson fluid. Within the liquid floated unidentifiable fragments. A metallic, rotten scent oozed from under a loosely sealed lid. His stomach turned. Time to leave. He hurried back toward the hallway, determined to gather his bag and get out. But as he stepped into the corridor, the family stood silently, blocking his path. Their smiles stretched wider. Their eyes glowed brighter. Not a sound, not a breath came from them. Adrian staggered back. He turned toward the staircase, the only escape route he could think of. He climbed, heart pounding violently. The family didn't rush after him. They didn't need to. He already sensed they were everywhere at once, their presence coiling around him like a shadow. At the top floor, a long corridor stretched into dimness. He flung open the nearest door and nearly collapsed. Hundreds of framed photographs filled the room, faces all smiling, each with pupils colored in solid black ink, as if erasing their humanity. On a giant corkboard hung portraits of town residents Adrian recognized. Their faces carried a subtle stain, a dark marking similar to the distortion he had witnessed in his camera. He lifted one photograph. The dust smeared away. The eyes moved. He dropped it, stunned. The glass shattered. The photo slid free. On the back was an inscription. Hayes 12 2018. His own surname. A year written before he ever arrived in town. His pulse hammered painfully against his chest. Then he saw the largest frame, empty, but labeled with his full name. Adrian Hayes, a prepared tombstone, waiting for his image. A cold breeze brushed his neck. Slowly, he turned. The Bennett family stood at the far end of the hallway. Their faces, no longer masks of perfection, skin pulled tight, cracking, teeth stretching into needle-sharp rows, eyes turning into deep black voids, flesh glistening as if soaked in dark liquid. Humanity was gone. Adrian bolted into another room and barricaded the door with anything he could grab. He flicked on the light. A photography dark room. Chemical scents lingered in the stale air. On a hanging line, photos still drying. Every single photo captured him, entering the house, walking down the corridor, standing horrified in the kitchen, looking back into the hallway. This had all been planned. Someone, something, had been photographing him from the moment he arrived. Movement beneath the table caught his eye. A creature, limbs like twisted joints, crawling, clicking, emerged from the darkness. No recognizable eyes, no face, just a swirling void of hunger. He stumbled back toward the window, sealed shut with thick, unbreakable glass. Panic crushed his lungs. The family seeped through the doorway, moving like dripping shadows, their grotesque forms expanding, monstrous, ancient, hungry. With nowhere left to run, Adrian scanned frantically for another exit. He noticed a rotting floorboard beneath an old cabinet. He pushed with all his strength. It cracked open. Without hesitation, he dropped into the hidden crawl space. He landed hard. Dust and dirt filled the air. Above him, scraping footsteps echoed the nightmare searching for him. Adrian crawled through a narrow tunnel beneath the house, the wooden planks overhead creaking with each crushing step of the abominations stalking him. The walls seemed coated in the same chemicals used in the darkroom. Markings clawing, desperate scratches, covered every inch. The cries of past victims clung to the silence. Ahead, a faint sliver of moonlight. Hope. He crawled faster, lungs burning. Behind him, the dragging limbs of inhuman figures followed, closing the distance, little by little. The tunnel led to a rusted metal hatch. He pushed hard. It resisted, groaned, then finally burst open. Cool night air rushed in like salvation. Adrian climbed out into a forest behind the house. He sprinted until foliage swallowed him whole. His heart pounded in his throat. The house loomed in the distance like a living entity. Windows like eyes, roof like a jaw. This town was no sanctuary. It was a nest. Every silent home, every friendly smile, every family portrait, all part of a darker design. Breathing hard, Adrian disappeared into the woods. He knew he could never return. Yet as he fled, the image of the house lingered like a curse in his memory. Inside the Bennett home, a blank frame on the mantelpiece was no longer blank. Adrian's face stared out from within it, distorted, fading into shadow, captured forever. The house inhaled slowly, the walls pulsed faintly, and soon it would search for its next visitor.